Imagine for a moment waking up each morning with a sense of peace that cannot be shattered by the day's events. Imagine facing loss, disappointment, or even triumph with the same calm acceptance. This is not the product of indifference or resignation, but rather the outcome of a powerful mindset, one that embraces whatever life brings, seeing it not as random chaos, but as the unfolding of a greater order. At the heart of this mindset is an ancient philosophy, Stoicism. And at the heart of Stoicism lies a concept both profound and challenging: love of fate, or as the Romans called it, Amor Fati. To love fate is to welcome everything that happens, good or bad, not just with acceptance, but with active embrace. It is the ability to greet every twist and turn in life, every unexpected joy, and every unforeseen hardship as something necessary, meaningful, and even beautiful. The Stoics, those sage philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome, saw the universe as governed by reason, by a natural order they called the Logos. Nothing, they believed, happens without cause or reason, and so, to resist fate is pointless. True wisdom lies in loving it, in aligning one's will so closely with the rhythms of nature that joy and serenity become unshakable. Consider the words of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher. In his Meditations he writes, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" Marcus, who faced wars, plagues, and personal loss, did not merely endure his hardships. He found meaning in them. He saw every event as part of a tapestry, each thread, no matter how dark, contributing to the beauty of the whole. Loving fate for Marcus was a way of recognizing that whatever happened was not only inevitable, but also, in some way, right. But how does one love fate? How do we greet tragedy, disappointment, or even the mundane frustrations of daily life with open arms? The Stoics offered practical guidance. First, they counseled us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. Our thoughts, our actions, our judgments, these are ours to command. The weather, the actions of others, the roll of fortune's dice, these are not. To love fate is to devote our energy to what we can shape and to release our grip on what we cannot. This is not passivity, it is liberation. When we cease to waste energy on resisting the inevitable, we are free to act with purpose and clarity. Epictetus, born a slave and later revered as a great teacher, put it simply: do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather wish that what happens happen the way it happens, then you will be happy. In these words, we find the core of Amor Fati. It is a shift from demanding that the world conform to our desires, to desiring that our hearts conform to the world. This is not self-abnegation, but self-mastery. It is the cultivation of an inner fortress, a place of calm from which we can respond wisely to whatever comes our way. To love fate is not to be unfeeling. The Stoics did not deny the reality of pain or loss. They grieved, they suffered, they felt joy. But they recognized that suffering is compounded when we resist what must be. By loving fate, we do not avoid sorrow, but we avoid the bitterness of wishing that things were otherwise. Instead, we find meaning in events themselves. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every loss, a chance to practice resilience. Even in the face of death, the ultimate fate, the Stoics saw not tragedy, but the fulfillment of nature's law. Seneca, another great Stoic, wrote, "A good person dyes events with his own color and turns whatever happens to his own benefit." To love fate is to become an artist, to paint meaning onto the canvas of experience. A broken heart, a failed venture, a sudden illness. These are not merely misfortunes, but opportunities. Opportunities to develop courage, patience, wisdom. Opportunities even for gratitude. For how can we appreciate the sweetness of life without its bitterness? How can we be strong without being tested? Imagine now, living your life with this attitude. You wake to rain on a day you planned a picnic. Instead of cursing your luck, you see the rain as a gift, a chance to reflect, to read, to enjoy the sound of water on the roof. A friend betrays you. Instead of bitterness, you find compassion for their weakness and gratitude for the lesson in discernment. You lose your job. Instead of despair, you find freedom, the chance to reinvent yourself, to pursue a new path. This is not easy. The love of fate is a discipline, a practice, not a one-time decision. It requires vigilance, self-reflection, and humility. It requires us to confront our deepest fears, the fear of loss, of pain, of being misunderstood. But slowly, over time, as we practice loving fate, we find a new kind of strength. A strength that does not depend on external circumstances, but arises from within. The Stoics used exercises to cultivate this mindset. One is the practice of negative visualization, imagining the loss of what we value most, so that we might better appreciate it and be prepared for its absence. Another is the nightly reflection, reviewing the day's events, noting where we resisted fate, and resolving to do better tomorrow. These are not exercises in pessimism, but in gratitude and readiness. They remind us that nothing is promised, and that every moment is a gift. Amor Fati is not unique to Stoicism. It echoes in many philosophies and religions. The Buddhists speak of equanimity, acceptance of the transience of life. The Christians speak of surrendering to God's will. The existentialists, like Nietzsche, who made Amor Fati his own, urge us to affirm life in all its chaos. But the Stoic version is distinctive in its practicality. It does not ask us to retreat from the world, but to engage with it fully, to participate in the unfolding of fate with courage and joy. Consider the history of the world. Time and again, those who have left their mark have done so, not by resisting fate, but by embracing it. Abraham Lincoln, haunted by depression, found in his suffering the strength to lead a nation. Helen Keller, struck blind and deaf as a child, transformed her fate into a beacon of hope. Viktor Frankl, enduring the horrors of the concentration camp, discovered that even in the worst circumstances, we are free to choose our attitude. These are stories of Amor Fati in action, the alchemy of turning suffering into wisdom, adversity into triumph. In our own lives, we can practice this love of fate in small ways. When we are stuck in traffic, when a plan falls through, when we face illness or loss, we can pause and ask, what is this moment asking of me? What lesson, what opportunity, what hidden gift lies here? By asking these questions, we shift from passivity to agency. We become partners with fate, not its victims. To love fate is also to love change. The Stoics saw that everything in the universe is in flux. Nothing stays the same. To cling to the past or to fear the future is to miss the beauty of the present. We cannot step into the same river twice, Heraclitus reminds us, for it is ever flowing. To love fate is to say yes to life as it is, not as we wish it to be. To find joy in the dance of becoming. There is a paradox here. By surrendering to fate, we gain freedom. By loving what we cannot change, we change ourselves. We become more resilient, more adaptable, more creative. We become, in the words of Epictetus, invincible. For what can harm the person who loves whatever happens? What circumstance can break the spirit that welcomes all things as necessary? Yet only Amor Fati is not an excuse for fatalism. The The Stoics were not passive. Marcus Aurelius led armies. Seneca advised emperors. Epictetus taught students. They acted with vigor, striving always to do what was right, but they did so with detachment from outcome. They played their roles to the fullest, knowing that the script was not theirs to write. In this, they found peace. In our modern world, with its anxieties and uncertainties, the Stoic love of fate offers a radical alternative. We are taught to control, to plan, to demand that life bend to our will. But life is unpredictable. The only certainty is uncertainty. To love fate is to make peace with this truth, to find joy in the flux. It is to dance with life, not to wrestle it into submission. Imagine now what our lives might look like if we truly loved fate. Our relationships would deepen, for we would accept others as they are, not as we wish them to be. Our work would become more meaningful, for we would focus on the process, not the outcome. Our fears would lessen, for we would see every challenge as a chance to grow. Even our sufferings would be transformed, for we would know that they too have their place in the pattern. To love fate is to trust the universe, not in a naive or superstitious way, but in the recognition that we are part of something larger, that our lives, with all their joys and sorrows, contribute to a greater whole, that every moment, no matter how small or painful, is necessary and right. The Stoics invite us to live with eyes wide open, to greet each day with gratitude, to see the hand of fate in all things. They invite us to become, in the words of Marcus Aurelius, a part of the whole, in harmony with all that happens. This is the path to freedom, to peace, to joy. In the end, to love fate is to love life itself. Not the life we wish for, but the life we have. It is to say yes again and again, to every moment, to every challenge, to every surprise. It is to find beauty in the pattern, even when we cannot see the whole. It is to live, fully and deeply, with courage and with love. So as you move through your day, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. When you encounter obstacles, when plans go awry, when fate seems cruel, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, can I love this too? Can I welcome even this as part of the story of my life? In doing so, you may find a strength you did not know you had, a calmness, a resilience, a joy that nothing can shake. For this is the gift of Amor Fati, the freedom to love your fate, and in so doing, to love your life.